Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Higgs. Today is Wednesday, WINS Day, November the 13th. Brian Bitler, Chirimbes coming in to say hello, little college football action. We got to redeem ourselves for a 1-2 week last week. Always the truth, win and lose, folks, here on the video. We let you know how we do. So you can show us how we do. Hit the like button. Maybe you lost. Hit the dislike. There's a thumbs down button. If you want to go that route, it's okay. Any interaction, there's no bad press, right? Hey, we win, we lose. We get the comment section open here on the YouTube channel. Come follow, notification bell on, so you know when we give out our free picks here, Monday through Saturday. Plenty of free pick videos, live shows on Monday night and on Friday afternoons. You don't want to miss out on that. And as always, these are free picks. We'll be covering the SEC and the Big 12 today with these picks. But if you want our premium action, you head on over to gamblersWORLD.net. We got a nice $99 college basketball tip-off underway if you like some college hoops. I like college hoops. Although I did go 4-5 yesterday. A lot of games, yes. But you know what? Still having a nice 61% number one because a lot of guys don't bet college basketball right out of the gate. They're not sickos like me, and I am. $99, 7-day pass. Go get it. And, of course, 3 730-day packages are guaranteed where we show you a profit over that time, or we credit you back, and you run at it again. And that's how we got a leaderboard. You see Chip Chirimbes on the leaderboard. Brian Bitler, pretty good college football guy. I owe your Chips on. Yesterday we were talking about his Megabuck play run. It is what it is. The premiums are there. We'll talk about what we have going on for tonight. Tomorrow, Thursday, we got NFL. The weekend, right, was 7 days of football, 7 days a week. I remember this football. And how about we got the in-season NBA, the cup, what is it called? The NBA Cup, for champion, I'm gonna call it the Championship Cup. Like, really, we got to make a tournament for LeBron so we could say that he's better than Michael Jordan. Let's make up a in-season tournament. He'll be the first ever back-to-back champion. That's what you do here, back-to-back in-season champion. Anywho, that's my NBA dig at the NBA for this nonsense. Let's go, Brian Bitler. How you been? I was going to start with Chip. I got that Chip yesterday. We're going to Brian here on a Wednesday. How was your weekend? What do you got in store for us this week?
I'll tell you what, after a slow couple of days, 7-1, last 2 days starting to heat up. So I'm looking to keep it going the rest of the week.
Brian, you're a little choppy. Recheck your mic there for us. Uh-oh. We'll pull Bry out for a second there. Right. Let him get his mic reset. See if we get a little thumbs up from him. But it happens. It happens. They're doing a live recording. It was fine when we were off stage 2 minutes ago. Let them reload. It happens, right, Chip? We know it happens. We happened to do the other day. It's like boom, Doug's knocking cameras over. We thought he fell over. No, it was just the camera fell. That's what we do here. It's live for us doing it on recording. But how'd you do last night with your NBA?
The NBA, I won my the NBA. I won my Megabuck play and lost. I was 1-2 on the night, but in college basketball, my first Megabuck play of the year, I put out St. Joe's as an underdog. They won outright. Now 4-1 on the entire season in college basketball, and I have one out there for you tonight. And of course, football is a winner on Monday. So we're just trotting along once again. Sean and Brian's back, so let him finish with 7-1 weekend. Isn't bad. Our last 2 days, Brian, isn't bad at all.
Well, hopefully my mic is working correctly now.
Yeah.
Is it?
There you go.
All right.
Sounds better.
The stress there. I don't know what happened. But, yeah, hopefully trying to carry the momentum of the last 2 days into the rest of the week. Definitely nice having football every day to keep us busy.
Yeah, 7-1. Can't complain about that. Although, let's be honest, somebody will. We know we've been in this a long time. You get an email. Oh, man, what a tough weekend.
Yeah, Michigan State went down for me yesterday against Kentucky. That was my lone L last 2 weeks. So.
Listen, don't complain. 7-1, and we're annoyed at it because how many times when we miss something like that, it's like, oh, it's right there for a total clean sweep. Especially it's a bunch of games. We want to win them all, folks. We want to win, whether they're the free picks or the premiums. We wouldn't bet them. When people ask me, "Oh, do you like this game?" I wouldn't bet if I didn't like it. As far as I'm concerned, I'm 17-0 until the games tip off, and then we'll see. Right? I mean, we want to win every game. Speaking of winning games, Brian, Kansas 1-1 last week. They were a little home dog versus a ranked Iowa State team. Took care of business. They got to run the table to go bowling here. BYU, a 3-point fade that's open at 3.5, immediately comes down to 3. Total of 55.5. Oh, BYU! Look, I'm not going to say too much because I'm sure we're all on the same wavelength when we see this kind of game and the point spread involved. Kansas, number 7 BYU. What are they? The 3 seed in the playoffs. Here we go. Laying 8 field goal at home.
I'll tell you what, a great game I get to go over with you guys late on Saturday night. BYU at 9-0, only laying 3 points at home to a 3-6 Kansas team. Really caught my attention when I saw it. I think BYU has been a public moneymaker this year, 7-2 against the number. But they're coming off a non-cover war against their arch rival, the Utah Utes. Kansas won this game last season between the two teams, 38-27. While I don't see, a 11-point win here, I do see a one-score win here for Kansas. They've been solid on offense all season long. I think BYU is going to have trouble keeping up with them. Kansas is 0-4 straight up on the road this year, but that makes this line look even more fishy. I think you got to go opposite of what looks like an easy win because 7 times out of 10, really never that easy. I'm going to take the points with Kansas.
Kansas +3. He said he even likes them to probably win this one. So if you want to do a little money line plus 130-ish, again, you see the 3, undefeated, number 3 seed, and then a lowly field goal. You're off a game you probably should have lost to boot. Brian Bitler, free play here. Kansas +3, a 10-15 start. So this would be your Saturday bailout play, I guess we'd call it there. But Chip, thoughts on the Kansas? Because I'm agreeing with the Kansas.
I agree with Brian completely. Kansas has only covered 3 of their last 10 games overall going back. Jalen Daniels now had a horrible start. This Kansas, they reeled off like 6 losses in a row, or maybe it was 5. But regardless, Daniels, the last 3 weeks, is the second-rated college quarterback that has played in the last 3 weeks. This is because he had a horrible start. And, offensively, they're getting 421 yards a game, but BYU's been hanging their hat on turnovers. They got 17 interceptions, 5 fumble recoveries. Defensively, they're only giving up 323 yards a game, and that's been the difference. But this is a don't make sense game like last week when I had Kansas, and I'm seeing the same thing happen again here. I'm looking for Kansas to come up big. 3 points at home. I mean, are they saying this game's a pick 'em on a neutral site with a 9-0 team against a 3-7 team? Don't make sense, guys. It just doesn't, and I will take Kansas.
You mentioned Jalen Daniels, 8 interceptions the first 3 games, so terrible out of the gate there. But he's, no turn. You don't turn the ball over, you're going to get some wins, folks. You don't turn the ball over. That's the name of the game, right? We always say that. Yeah, can't handicap turnovers. Nobody's expecting crazy games like that. I'll get to a turnover guy in my game in a second, but Kansas plus the 3 from Ryan Bitler, who is a pretty good college football capper. Not a bad little run. I think he's number 1 in college football this year on the site, if I remember correctly. There you go. Number 1 college football, Brian Bitler. He likes Kansas plus the 3. Now, that's in the late night bailout on Saturday. We got a little afternoon. I guess this is the prime time kind of slot. 3:30. LSU and Florida. The Tigers. I had LSU in a miserable spot last week. What am I going to do? Losers. 4-point faves here. Total of 55. Both teams are off bad losses. One guy loses to Alabama. Florida's in off getting crushed by Texas on the road there. Man, I thought Florida would be looking for a coaching change. Who knows? They're kind of little feisty here, winning a couple games. Maybe, their win total, I think, was 6 or something, or 4.5, maybe 5.5. Do they pull this one out as a little home dog here, Chip? I mean, not much spread-wise. They're 5-4 ATS. LSU 3-6 against the number, but LSU laying 4 here on Saturday afternoon in the swamp.
We're in the SEC, Sean, and it looks like we're supposed to be on the underdogs. In conference plays, the underdogs are now, get this exactly, I think it's 31-13. So Florida is the underdog here. They're only 4-5 on the season. LSU is 6-3, but once again, they've done it to their backers. They've only covered 3 of their last 10. They opened the season with a loss against USC and then reeled off 6 straight wins. But, this Florida team is certainly disappointing, and they're certainly not as good as we had hoped they would be. 3 of the last 4 games, they've lost to Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee. Each one of those teams at one time or another was ranked number 1. Florida's given up 400 yards a game, and they're getting 3 yards less offensively. when you look at this game, my first impression is that LSU is a much better team, but against the points they aren't. They always seem to be a little bit overrated. They always seem to be overplayed by the public. And I'm going to take Florida here. I think the Gators come up big at home, and their play has improved slightly during the season. But I'm going to take Florida over. I'm going to take the Gators over the Tigers.
There you go. Listen, +4. This again looks like a little like Brian's game. Look at the spread. You're like, Florida's having a bad year. +4. Gators +4. Chips play. I'm agreeing with that one. I mean, LSU hasn't covered numbers. This number looks a little light to me. Brian, your thoughts, Mr. College Football, down there?
Yeah, I hate that we all agree with each other, but when a play's right, a play's right. And I agree with everything Chip said. I'm going to take Florida plus the points. I think LSU got their bubble burst, 2 straight-up losses in a row, and now they're not going to be in the playoffs. Before that, Florida covered 5 straight games, so, they're staying within the number. I think it's a field goal game. I'll take the Gators. It's tough to play at this moment.
There you go. Florida Gators +4, official Chip Chirimbes play.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these are the free picks. Brian Bitler likes Kansas +3. Chip Chirimbes is going with Florida +4. That's super here. Hit the like button on the Winner Circle YouTube channel. But if you want our premium plays from Brian, Chip, myself, head on over to gamblersworld.net, where all of our top plays for Wednesday, Thursday, through the weekend, they're all up there. 3 730 packages guaranteed. And, of course, we're talking college football, but college basketball underway. $99 for a 7-day pass. You cannot beat that. You can't beat that. Come on. That's for a week. What are we doing here, folks? Or, as good as that is, if you get a 7-day package, you get all sports. I don't know. Just use your head. It's like a coupon comes in the mail. I'm trying to help you, folks. We want to make you money. That's what we're trying to do here. I'm going to look to try to make you money Saturday night, 7:30. Between the bushes, as they say, right in Georgia. Is that the word down here in Athens? Tennessee and the Bulldogs. 10-point dogs for the Volunteers, total of 48.5. I mean, these guys, 8-1. Is this a fraudulent 8-1? 5-4 ATS for Tennessee. I look at their wins and just the scores of their game. And this was, Chip, we were doing the Oklahoma-Tennessee game way back beginning of the year.
Right.
And I think we were talking about taking the under that game because we're like, okay, you put 71 up on Kent State, 60 on who's your 51 NC State, 69 on Chattanooga. You're like, who are these teams? Let's play a real team. And that turned into a 2015 rock fight. And this is what we've seen out of them coming against real teams, SEC teams. This isn't the Volunteer team of past. 33-14 again, and that's Mississippi State, who gives up like 40 a game in SEC play. 33 points, 28-18, 24-17, 23-17, 19-14 loss at Arkansas. And Georgia, what a weird – I thought Georgia was going to be the best team this year. I was like, okay, I could see them winning the whole thing. I thought they had the best coach. 7-2. Talk about burning your backers like LSU style. 2-7 ATS.
Yeah.
The band lost to Alabama. You come out, you're shell shocked. It's 30-0, 4 minutes into the game or whatever like that is. Okay, you made it a game late, but by that point, it's out of control. I'm pretty sure we all had Ole Miss last week in that spot because the way Carson Beck, we're talking about interceptions for Jalen Daniels. Mr. Beck, 11 interceptions or whatever on the season, 9 the last 4 games or something like that, or 13. This guy, he's like, I'm trying to think with 2 interceptions like this. This is like Vinny Testaverde in the championship game for Miami Penn State. Like, what happened to this guy? This guy took a number 1 pick and turned it into a 3rd rounder for him.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm going to look at the under 48.5 here. The 10 points look great. You're thinking like, okay, Georgia is 2-7. They're not covering games. But I don't know if Tennessee could score. When it comes down to playing good teams in the SEC, they are not scoring any points or not enough points. I know the 10 looks like it's a gift, right? Look at that one and be like, wow, this too good to be true. That is where avoid. We see a +3 against a ranked team like, wow, that line's too low. This one here seems like they're absolutely begging you again just on the opposite side to take the underdog. I think Georgia wins this going away. I'm not going to be shocked if this is like 33-13 or something. I'm going to go under, though, because I don't see Tennessee scoring more than 14. Obviously, I lean Georgia here, but give me the under 40.5 because the Vols, I don't think they score more than 13 to 16 points. Give me the under 48.5. Brian Bitler, what do you think about the Vols and the Bulldogs?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I do kind of agree with you. It does seem like they're tempting you into a Tennessee play here. But for me, I'm going to lean towards the Volunteers plus the points. I mean, Georgia hasn't really been good at covering the number, like you said, 2-7 ATS over their last 9. And, Tennessee looked good against Alabama. I think they can at least keep this one respectable. So I'll take the points in the Volunteers.
There you go. See, people, we all agreed it was a 3-man party on the other games. This one here, little mixed bag. And again, Chip had brought up the 30-13 SEC doggy run. Brian says, why not take a 10 spot with a team that's competitive in losses? Chip, what do you think here? Tennessee plus 10 or my official under 48.5?
Well, I'm the tiebreaker here, and I think this line is way out of whack. When you look at it defensively, Georgia is ranked 13th, giving up 307 yards a game. But guess what? Tennessee's only given up 272 yards. That's less. Tennessee's averaging over 100 yards more offensively, and they're a 10-point or double-digit underdog here, or at least 9. I think it's out of whack. Georgia, it looks like they're a play against. After crushing Clemson 34-3 in their opener, they've gone 1-7 against the points. That they got blown out against Texas, and rather they blew out Texas. I think that Georgia's a side here. Last year was their year to win the national championship, and they stubbed their toe in the SEC game. Don't even get into the Final Four, and they probably had the best team in the country, Sean, and that's why I was looking for them to come back with another great year, the quarterback returning, and they just don't have that same chemistry, that same energy that they've had in recent seasons. So I'm going to take Georgia here because it just looks too easy to take the Volunteers. I'm with you, Sean. Brian,
I hear
it's the way I have to go. I have to go this way. And Georgia's won 7 straight in this matchup, by the way. So I'm going to take the Bulldogs.
All right, so we got a little mixed bag on the sides. It happened. Yep. All right, that's what the show is about, right? You want to hear? It's good. We all come different angles on a game. See why we like it. We don't like it. Sometimes we agree. Sometimes we disagree. It's all right. You know why? Because it's a free pick video, and the pick was actually on the under. Wasn't even on the side. So that's a bonus play for everyone. Yeah. So I like the under 48.5. Under 48.5 Georgia for me. BYU, Kansas, Brian Bitler is taking the Jayhawks plus 3. LSU, Florida, another doggy. Chip's taking the Gators at home in the Swamp plus the 4 here in the video here. But it is November the 13th. And I actually, this day, we'll do a little this day in baseball history. I just came across something that in this day, I believe it was I can't remember the guy's name, which is terrible because it was the one where 2 things are given to life, death and taxes. I want to say it was who said that? It was Ben Franklin. Who wrote it? It was I'm drawing a blank. I just heard it on the radio.
Pee Wee Herman.
No, bro, it was like in 1770. Oh my goodness! Now, wow, I totally screwed the pooch on that one, everybody. Terrible. Oh my goodness. I wish we could stop the tape. Stop the presses. Chip, give us the baseball history while I look up who said this.
All right. November 13th, some people felt when it came on a Friday was bad luck. But listen to this now. The very first time that 2 college teams played each other wearing uniforms. I told you the other day how the very first game between Princeton and Rutgers took place. Well, this is between Harvard and Yale. Those Ivy Leaguers, they had to come out in uniforms. 1875, November 13th. And in 1900, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, the Baltimore Orioles joined the American League. The thing is, this Baltimore Oriole team in 1903, 3 years later, moved to New York and became the New York Yankees, believe it or not. 1958, after the Giants and Dodgers had moved to the West Coast, Robert Wagner, the mayor of New York City, decided to form a new baseball league called the Continental League, which never got off the ground, of course, but it put pressure on Major League Baseball for the expansion with the Mets and the Houston Astros at the time. 1964, this is sort of a unique thing that I just found out about. One of the great forwards of all time by the name of Bob Pettit played for the St. Louis Hawks. The Hawks were the only team that disrupted a 9-year run with the Boston Celtics winning championships year after year. But he scored his 20,000th point on this date, which at that time was an NBA scoring record. And that was Bob Pettit, who led the NBA in scoring at one time or another. And 1968. There's pretty interesting things going on, but this date is pretty crazy. There was I have to repeat this because in 1968, on this date, Bob Gibson won the Cy Young Award in what was the most dominating year in the history of pitching in baseball. 1.12 ERA. He threw 13 shutouts. He went 15 straight complete games, Sean. He gave up 198 hits in 305 innings, and he had a 15-game win streak, and he had a 21 straight complete game streak, Sean, during the season. This is Bob Gibson, 1.12 ERA on the year. Lost 11 games because he got shut out 8 times. There it is.
15 straight complete games.
Yeah,
I'm sure somebody will break that next year. It's probably one of those could be broken.
We can't guys who make 15 regular starts, much less finishes.
Ben Franklin. Nothing is certain except death and taxes. He wrote in a letter saying that in our new Constitution, everything seems like it's promised, but one thing is certain in life, and that's death and taxes.
Right.
Yep.
By the way, Gibson beat out Pete Rose that year, hit 335 by a narrow margin because people just didn't want to give the MVP to a pitcher at the time. But how do you keep him? How do you keep that award away from him? I don't see it.
I mean, it was such a dominant. Now I could see not giving pitchers things. You had to have such a crazy year for a pitcher, I think, to get an MVP. But that was worthy of one. But again, back in those days, it was kind of set. You had a Cy Young, you had an MVP.
You know who the last switch hitting MVP was?
Switch hitter MVP. What decade? I was going to say.
Let's put it this way. I'm going to save us all a lot of time. His name was Vida Blue.
Oh.
But switch hitting MVP. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a nice trick one for you.
Isn't that a good one?
It's a pitcher. Vida Blue.
Yeah.
What was that? The A's in the 70s when they were winning?
Oh, he was tough. He was good.
But see, I'm thinking hitters. I was like, nothing.
Yeah, of course. That's the whole key. He's from Louisiana, so you should expect something like this anyway.
Yeah, I was like, I know Chipper wasn't even MVP, but I'm trying to think who was a good switch hitter the last 20 years.
Exactly.
Something recent. Otherwise, we had to go back. I don't remember any 70s switch hitters. I just know the Mick as a switch hitter.
Yeah, he was. He was
Maybe
great.
Eddie Murray, but Eddie Murray
had longevity, so he ended up with more home runs than Mickey Mantle. But Mantle was 521, was the all-time power hitting switch hitter.
Chipper Jones might have had a shot at it with the Braves.
Yeah, Chipper was pretty
true.
Good. That's about it. All right, Chipper Jones. Mickey Mantle, choose your fighter. Who's that? Who's going to win that poll? All right, recapping our picks today here. Florida Gators +4 for Chip. Kansas Jayhawks +3 for Brian. I'm going under Tennessee and Georgia 48.5. Again, this is a free pick video. Hit the like button here on the Winner Circle channel. Premium plays at gamblersworld.net for all three of us. Plus, there's 11 other guys to choose from. And if you go there is a leaderboard. What's there to say? You see who's hot. Bry, pretty good college football guy. I don't know. He's number one there. I'm having a good college basketball season. Chipper, across the board, all over the place with his plays. He's red hot for the month. Whatever you got to do. Just head on over to gamblersworld.net. Support the channel, support the show, support your favorite capper. And that's about it. Support dogs. Everybody loves a little dog. Go adopt a puppy or something. I don't know what else to tell you. Don't do that. That's I'm not forcing you to get dogs. Just pick the underdogs. We can do that. All right, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with Matt Fargo and Doug Upstone talking some NFL. But for Brian Bitler, Chip Chirimbes, myself, happy Wednesday. Good luck in your bets. Take it easy. Bye-bye now.